A lot of people have heard my stories about my time in the military. I did not want to join the military. I was already a military brat. My dad was an officer in the Air Force. Um, but I needed to be sure that I was going to have a future after high school. Yeah, I was going to go to college, but after my parents' divorce, my mom didn't have anything. She couldn't put me through school, and due to some situations between my mother and father that involved me and my brother, um, even though I'd been a straight A student up until I was a freshman in high school, I had a certain amount of trauma that happened basically my freshman, sophomore year that affected my junior and senior year, and I just couldn't focus. I couldn't get it together, and I went completely off the rails, and I really unknowingly sabotaged myself as far as academic scholarships. So I was like, okay, well, athletic scholarships, but I didn't want to put anything to chance. And I went to the military. And in basic training, I was the worst, and I do mean the worst private in all of the military. Here's the one thing about being underestimated. I barely made it through basic training. So I hit my AIT, which is advanced school, where you start to learn your trade, what you came into the military to learn. The drill sergeants took bets on who would wash out, who would not make it, who would come in last. And all of them picked me, based on what they were told by the drill sergeants from basically what they had observed up until that point. I had zero motivation. I really didn't want to be there. But once the foot was taken off my neck, I excelled, and I went from being Beetle Bailey, the absolute last place worst soldier in the history of the Army, to valedictorian of my class. I graduated number 1. And the only thing I had to say is, well, go ahead, underestimate me. You won't be the first, and you won't be the last. But you will be wrong. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steed, Nuke from the Ville. I'm here to talk to you about Invincible, Season 3, Episode 5. This was supposed to be easy. I'm going to call this Better Than You Think. Now, if you watched with me before, I'm not going to do a recap. It's going to be real short and sweet. If you want to see my reaction and the discussion that Cinta and I had when we watched this, go into the description and look for where it says episode this analysis is based on, and click that link. Now, for this media therapy deep dive, I am going to call this Better Than You Think. And in this particular episode of Invincible, Mark and Eve have started a business. They are protecting a prison, and it's the prison with all the super powered people. Mark ends up meeting with Titan. Titan tells Mark, hey, I need a favor. I am in a hard spot. I need to get Multipaw out of prison. Mark kind of flexes, and Mark is like, not only are you not going to get Multipaw out of prison, he's a criminal, he needs to stay there. I put him there, he gonna stay. But little buddy, you You a criminal. I'm gonna get ready to take you to jail. Now, Titan was smarter than that, and Titan was constantly underestimated this entire episode. And even when he was talking to, when Titan was talking to the guy who used to run it, he said, I was able to take you down because you underestimated me. You think that because and I don't want to say because he was black, but maybe, but because he covered himself in rock and it seemed that he settled things with his fists, they thought that there was no cerebral component to it. And he was a thinker. Mark has not proven to be a whole lot of a thinker thus far. He tends to be very impulsive and act with his fist. There's a huge fight out of the prison. They tear the prison up. Multi-Paul eventually ends up getting out. He comes up with his own plan that's gross on a whole different level. And then there's Mr. Liu, the guy who runs the order. But Titan had a long hatched out plan, and he had contingencies, and it worked. You know, I love my quotes, and I have two. The first one's written by Julie C. Dow, and she says that being underestimated can be a blessing in disguise. That is to say, it gives us a chance to astonish those who doubt our true worth. The second quote, I'm not sure who said this, but it is, being underestimated is one of the biggest competitive advantages that you can have. Embrace it. You know, being underestimated seems like it can be a disadvantage, but it can also be an opportunity. There's a certain weight that comes from people having expectations of you. And if you look at our last media therapy deep dive, I talked about expectations and sometimes not living up to those expectations. And there's a weight to that. When other people put their expectations on you, it's heavy. Sometimes zero expectations and even being underestimated is an opportunity. It seems like a disadvantage. No one expects anything out of you. Matter of fact, they expect the worst out of you. The thing about expectations and what people estimate that you can do or cannot do is that there is a power in being underestimated. And the one thing you should never do is fight for people to take you seriously. Don't do that. Just show them. I know as we were kids, I know I used to say a lot of time, you know, you would get into these things on the playground at school and stuff. And a famous one, me and my brother and someone used to say, well, I'm from Missouri. I'm not from Missouri. I'm from California, actually. I'm not from Missouri at all. But I'm like, I'm from Missouri. It's the show me state. You're going to have to show me. And there's strength in that. The game is sold, not told. I don't care what your mouth says. I don't care about the words that fall out of your lips. Your actions are what mean something. Now, here's how you can use being underestimated to your advantage. Focus on your strengths. Lean into your talents and your capabilities. Whatever it is that you are strong at, whatever it is that you are good at. Those people that are underestimating you, they probably don't even know that. Lean into that. Go with your strengths. This is no time for you to doubt yourself. Go with what you're good at. And now's the time for you to excel at it. You need to set some goals. Now, they can be long-term goals, but really what you need are incremental goals. And if that has to be a goal every day, every week, every 2 weeks, every month, you need to set small goals and win. We tend to focus on the losses. We tend to take L's and wear them like a badge of honor. No, collect W's. Collect the wins. Set your goals and achieve them. Have surprise expectations. You need to constantly deliver results. You know, a lot of times why nostalgia doesn't work is it feels good for a little while. But people's present situations, their current place that they are in life, they're dealing with that. They don't have time to live in what used to be. You can't live on, I used to be an athlete. I used to be good looking. I used to have a 12-pack of abs. And by the way, I'm still good looking. Look. You can't live on what you used to do. The world is absolutely made of what have you done for me lately? So the fact that you used to give to charity, the fact that you used to put money in the tithes, the fact that you used to walk old ladies across the street or volunteer at the soup kitchen. Well, people still need soup. Where the hell you been? Yes, people are appreciative, thankful for your help. But you can't get by on deeds of yesteryear. A big one is to change the narrative. Defy their expectations and rewrite the narrative, not only for yourself, but for others. And this is important because if you don't contain and write the narrative, someone else would definitely write the narrative for you. I have said more than once, and on these deep dives as well, history is his story. And the story is always told by the victor. The winners tell the story. Nobody gives a damn about the story from the losers. So if you are delivering, if you are always getting results, then you get to control your own narrative. And that's important. Be the star of your own story, not a side character in somebody else's. And the best thing that you can do is build a support network. That should be your family, should be loved ones, siblings, boyfriend, girlfriend, friends. But too many times, those are often the people that are underestimating you or have lofty or low expectations of you. The hardest person to get to believe in you is you. You might be surrounded with people who believe in you more than you do. They see the potential that you have more than you do. And they're just waiting on you to catch up to them. Does that mean that they have high expectations of you? Maybe. We just spent a whole deep dive talking about living up to your own expectations. But there's something to be said about potential. And nobody's going to be able to unlock the magical super being that is you if you won't. Because you're the one who holds the key. This is Rakai Steve, Noob from the Ville. Make sure that you like, comment. Was there ever a time that someone underestimated you? What did you do about it? How'd you handle it? Leave me some comments. I'd love to read them. And share this as much as possible. And if for some strange reason you have not subscribed yet, click the button down below and subscribe. Whatever we do, it's all about this, but it has to be about this.